Welcome to today's edition of the Anaglyph Juke Box. You never know what you'll find on the old jukebox. Let's press B31. Okay, we've got Whack 3D. This one is for Paul. A note on presentation. The first 7 images are not in 3D. Shocked? Disappointed? Your free admission to the Anaglyph Juke Box is non-refundable. Sorry. There's also a change this time in the restoration of this historic material. A lighter, more minimalist approach. It shows the age of the paper today and preserves some of the subtle detail from the original printing that sometimes gets lost in a crisp digital cleanup. You'll see this in the complete tale, Ghastly Defective Comics, starring Keyhole Casey in Dead as a Doornail, later on in the show. The entire run of the Whack comic book, full title, Let's Give It a Whack, America's Craziest Comic Book, consists of just 3 issues, 1 through 3, October 1953 through May 1954. Whack is clearly derivative of the previous year's great comic book success story, Mad, before it was a magazine, cover dated October-November 1952. Mad was the work of comics genius editor Harvey Kurtzman and publisher William Gaines of EC Comics. Mad's run was slightly longer, sending its final issue to press in April 2018. Whack was just one of the many short-lived Mad imitators of the time, like Nuts, Get Lost, Riot, Flip, From Here to Insanity, Madhouse, and finally Panic, a Mad imitation from Mad's own publisher. Only one issue of Whack, the first one, was done in Anaglyph 3D. It's significant because this 3D humor magazine was, as noted on the cover, edited by Norman Maurer and Joe Kubert, with every page in full 3 dimensions, *, licensed under 3D Illustereo Process, trademark, patent pending. Norman and Joe were the ones who originally pitched their version of print anaglyph separation to Archer St. John, and thus began the 9-month-long 3D comic book craze of 1953 and 1954. Their great success with Mighty Mouse in 3D led St. John to envision converting all his books into Illustereo 3D. That would have been wild. St. John's comic line ran a wide gamut of formats, from licensed features like Abbott and Costello, The Three Stooges, Mighty Mouse, Nancy and Sluggo, to Atom Age Combat, Authentic Police Cases, True Love Pictorial, Fightin' Marines, and Teenage Temptations. The Jukebox's personal favorite has always been Canteen Kate, with the luscious line work and good girl art of Matt Baker. Imagine those curves in 3D. The single most famous story from Whack's run, of course, is Joe Kubert's The 3D Tease, a self-satire of the creation of 3D comic books. The 3D fad was over so quickly that by the second issue of Whack, the popular 3D Tease story was reprinted, this time in 2D and full color. The parodies of their own comics continued in 2D with World's Worst No-Dimension Comics, every page guaranteed to contain no dimensions of any kind whatever, starring Tall Perry's Mighty Moose. And the splash page by Norman Maurer for Dr. Sequel and Mr. Hyde were the title characters literally stepping out of and off a comic book cover. And you could get in on all the fun too, as the house ad for Comic Art Lessons explains. Learn to be a comic book artist. Here's your big chance. Learn to draw comic strips, regular and 3D. Now, for only $1 per lesson, you have the opportunity to learn about the comic book business from the 2 men who produced the first complete 3D comic books, Mighty Mouse, Three Stooges, 1 million years ago, and others. This is what you've been waiting for. The comic book industry needs new talent. Editors are looking for the freelance artists. Extra. Lessons for 3D art will be printed in 3D. Coda. The Jukebox wonders wistfully if any copies of the $1 comic book art lessons for 3D by Joe and Norman, available from 3100 Cavendish Drive, Los Angeles, California, 67 years ago, are still in existence, sitting somewhere in a storage unit, attic, or garage.